edition of the English News Bulletin here on Rwanda Television. But before, I wish you a good month of September. Now let's kick off with the headlines. President Paul Kagame has emphasized that Africa possesses all the resources, including knowledge, needed to achieve food security. Rwanda's Supreme Court has commended the justice sector institutions for their performance in the 2024-2025 judicial year. And on the international scene, a 6.0 magnitude earthquake in northern eastern Afghanistan has killed over 800 people, with Kanan province hardest hit. My name is Olivnet, and it's always a pleasure to have you on board. Now let's kick off today's edition. President Paul Kagame has emphasized that Africa possesses all the resources, including knowledge, needed to achieve food security. He made the remarks while speaking with young participants at the Africa Food Systems Forum in Dakar, Senegal. And Nora Gladys kicks us off tonight.
Innovation and implementation of action.
President Kagame, together with his Senegalese counterpart Bassirou Diomaye Faye, held a dialogue with youth after officially opening the Continental Summit on Agriculture and Food Systems. The discussion was filled with advice and concrete solutions to help young people boost their contribution in transforming agriculture, in line with the theme of this year's summit. At the outset, young participants from different African countries told President Kagame that they were impressed by his leadership style and the way he gives both youth and women a central place in national development. The event was also attended by leaders of various youth-led organizations that play an important role in advancing agriculture across Africa. President Kagame noted that Africa has everything it needs, including knowledge, to achieve food security. He urged young people to take the lead, remain focused on their goals and vision, and allow those who want to support them to build upon that foundation.
I want to tell the young people here, as we address them, the first thing they should know is that they are at the heart of many governments' activities, as I understand also in our own country. But there must be an obligation they feel also as young people. Young people, you must be feeling an obligation. There is no sitting back and waiting until there is a problem and you expect that somebody is going to come and help. But you must be out there actively engaged in doing your part, as then we bring the support of other institutions, including those of government, to partner with you in taking your ideas further than you have already developed.
For his part, President Bassirou Diomaye Faye of Senegal stressed that Africa must feed itself, since it holds 60% of the world's arable land and has a large energetic youth population. He highlighted the efforts of men and women who are doing their best in the sector, saying they deserve to be backed by more investment and technological innovations to increase production, improve value chains, access markets, and cope with challenges such as climate change. When asked about reforms Rwanda has undertaken to promote environmentally sustainable agriculture, President Kagame noted that the first step is changing mindsets and strengthening collaboration with different partners, especially the private sector. He gave the example of Ireme Fund, launched with an initial investment of $100 million in partnership with the International Finance Corporation. Through this initiative, Rwanda has embraced the path of sustainable, environmentally friendly agriculture. He also mentioned the important role of Rika University, supported by Howard Buffett, as well as AGRA, the Pan-African organization promoting agricultural transformation on the continent.
But most importantly, we have also mobilized the country to be part of that by understanding that when we're talking about food systems and agriculture thereof and the investments, we're also talking about different problems we have to overcome by changing the mindset of our people and some of these things have been said before, where, one, we are not producing enough. Two, even the little that is produced is sent outside to be processed, and then what comes out of that is sent back to us at so many times more expensive rate. So the transformation, the reforms that have got to be carried out have to start with changing people's minds and practices, and really asking ourselves the questions. In Africa, what don't we have? What don't we know? But there must be something to show for all that. We must show that we know what to do, we have what to do, and there is that abundance that has been talked about of land, of manpower, of the know-how to do things.
The 19th Africa Food Systems Forum was attended by about 600 delegates, including around 2,000 young people. All speakers at the summit emphasized that Africa needs to go beyond speeches and focus on tangible actions that will enable the continent to reach its goal of completely eradicating hunger. Enra Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Still on the Africa Food System Forum, Rwandan youth attending this forum in Senegal expressed pride in a governance system that recognizes and empowers them, fueling their active participation in agriculture and livestock initiatives. On the forum's first day, they highlighted their commitment to learning valuable insights and key lessons from the event.
Also proud.
That is great. That's great. It is a pleasure to see that our president, His Excellency, is here having a conversation with youth. So it is a networking opportunity. It is an opportunity just to express ourselves. That it shows that also we are protected. We are supported by His Excellency and the Africa all.
So our comment to that was so grateful because as we see Rwandan, we are very many. Currently we are more than 17 and we are seeing other different youth that are presenting. Yesterday there was one who are representing at another event in the cocktail. So looking at our project as a flagship of the African is very good, and we are so grateful that our President Paul Kagame is here to present us and also to speak and inspire other African leaders so that they can support their own youth and develop and also continue to thrive as they are really growing agri-food system in Africa.
Moving ahead, the President of the Supreme Court and Chairperson of the High Council of the Judiciary in Rwanda, Honorable Domitille Mukantaganzwa, commended the institutions that make up the justice sector chain for their work in the judiciary year 2024-2025, during which more than 120,000 cases were tried and completed. She made these remarks at the official ceremony marking the 22nd opening of the judiciary of 2025-2026. We have details. The ceremony to officially open the 22nd Judicial Year 2025-2026 highlighted major achievements of different justice institutions in Rwanda, as well as challenges that may have hindered effective service delivery to citizens. The Rwanda Bar Association emphasized its efforts in supporting underprivileged citizens to ensure equal access to justice, as explained by its president, Moise Nkundabarashi.
Our
country contributes greatly in assisting the association so that we can deliver help to those in need. We cannot build a country if justice is only accessible to those with means. This year, we were able to assist 5,376 Rwandans in legal matters, and if we put that into monetary value, it equals 2,688 million Rwandan francs. We appreciate the partnership with the Ministry of Justice because it allows us to provide these services by supporting lawyers who assist those without means to access justice. The Prosecutor General Angelique Habyarimana revealed that the cases received by the prosecution during the judicial year 2024-2025 were duly handled and processed successfully.
duhereye ku madosiye yinjiye muri uyu mwaka ushize wa 2024.
During the judicial year 2024-2025, the prosecution received 78,489 cases, of which 75,732 were processed, representing 96.4% of all cases received. We had committed to achieving at least 96% of case processing, and I'm pleased to report that we fully met this target. Currently, Rwanda ranks first in Africa among 34 countries in terms of delivering quality justice services, and this is according to the World Justice Project Rule of Law Index 2024-2025. Globally, Rwanda ranks 40th out of 142 countries and is also the first worldwide among 16 developing nations recognized for adherence to the rule of law and advancement of justice. The Minister of Justice and Attorney General, Dr. Emmanuel Ugirashebuja, assured that Rwanda will continue doing everything possible to remain at the forefront of delivering effective justice. We will focus on continuing to provide appropriate and effective justice to citizens. For this to be achieved, there are things that have already started, and we plan to continue doing it. These include reducing pending cases that are still in courts to reach at least 30% from the current 62%, as it was in the first phase of the National Strategy for Transformation that ended in June 2024. The President of the Supreme Court and Chairperson of the High Council of the Judiciary, Honorable Domitille Mukantaganzwa, called on citizens to embrace the government's alternative dispute resolution programs, which aim to reduce case backlogs in courts.
ndasabaga n'inkiko kumva ko gukemura ibibazo mu bwumvikane.
I want to encourage those seeking court services to consider resolving disputes through mediation and mutual agreement. This is one of the ways to achieve justice more quickly at lower cost, while preserving good relations between parties in conflict. I also wish to highlight the 15,012 cases resolved through this method in the past judicial year. This is a remarkable milestone that lays a solid foundation for us to continue promoting mediation and settlements in the judicial year 2025-2026 whenever it is appropriate. The report of the judicial year 2024-2025 indicates that courts received 106,254 new cases, in addition to 76,273 cases pending from the 2023-2024 judicial year. In total, combining cases adjudicated on merit, those related to pre-trial detention, and those resolved through mediation or plea bargaining, 124,204 cases were completed. The Ministry of Education has released the results of students who completed secondary school in the 2024-2025 academic year, with 89.1% of examinees passing a rate higher than that of the previous year. The minimum passing mark for national exams at the end of secondary school is an average score of 50%, and this year over 106,078 students sat for the national exam for the 2024-2025 academic year, and 89.1% of them passed. Some of the students who passed said that their success was largely due to concentration and self-discipline. Dr. Bahati Bernard, Director General of the National Examination and School Inspection Authority, confirmed that this year's students' performed better than those of the previous year. The Minister of Education, Joseph Nsengimana, explained that the main reason for releasing the results early is to allow students continuing to higher education to start on time, whereas last year the results were announced in November and December. Data from the National Examination and School Inspection Authority shows that a total of 106,418 students registered for the A-level exams, but 106,079 actually sat for the exam. Overall, 99.1%, as we said, of all candidates passed, and female students passed at a rate of 85.5%, while male students passed at a rate of 93.5%. The ministry also highlighted the top performing districts, which are Kayonza, which ranked first, followed by Kirehe in second place, Rindo third, Ngoma fourth, and Nyamasheke fifth. Conversely, the district with the lowest passing rate this year was Kamonyi. Moving ahead, the Ministry of Unity and Civic Engagement has emphasized that preserving the history of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi is key for Rwanda in confronting those who deny or distort the history. This was highlighted as the ministry received a donation of 130 million Rwandan francs to support activities aimed at preserving the genocide memorial sites. The donation was presented to the Ministry of Unity and Civic Engagement by the Liquid Intelligent Technologies in partnership with the ministry. In partnership with the Imbuto Foundation, it is intended to support efforts to safeguard the history of the genocide against the Tutsi, including maintaining memorial sites, collecting survivors' testimonies, and other related activities. Sam Husi, director of Liquid Intelligent Technologies, said that supporting such initiatives is a way of leaving a legacy for younger generations so they can learn about Rwanda's history. The donation will also be used to educate young people about the history of the genocide against the Tutsi. Shami Elodi, the CEO of the Imbuto Foundation, emphasized that this is crucial for Rwanda's future.
Through this partnership, we're able to adapt to the needs ziba zihari mu rubyiruko, cyane cyane when it comes to preserving the memory of the genocide and really learning and understanding genocide ideology. And then, most importantly, how to use social media responsibly to protect the truth and counter denial.
Dr. Bizimana Jean Damascene, the Minister of Unity and Civic Engagement, also noted that preserving the history of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi plays a major role in confronting those who deny the history. Through this partnership, the Ntarama Genocide Memorial in Bugesera district has already been renovated, including the installation of all historical markers detailing the genocide against the Tutsi. The donation will also be used to restore the Nyange Memorial in Ngororero district, with work expected to be completed by the year, then next year, 2026 in June. To the agriculture sector, the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Resources is exploring the idea of a dedicated agricultural bank of a long-term solution to support professional farmers with large, low-interest loans and extended grace periods before repayment. And Gladys has the details.
The National Bank of Rwanda reports that 14% of the loans disbursed by microfinance institutions in the first 6 months of the year went to agriculture. However, at the level of all financial institutions combined, only 6% of the total loans went into agriculture, even though the national target is to increase this share to 10% by 2029. Some agribusiness entrepreneurs argue that the structure of the loans currently available does not fit the realities of the agricultural sector, hence their continued call for a dedicated agricultural bank. If the interest charged by the banks were reduced so that a farmer could take a loan without struggling to repay it, it would help a lot. Instead of saying this bank makes this much profit and that one makes that much, speaking with one voice in favor of the farmer will be far more beneficial. The Tekana Assuring Farmers and Livestock Keepers program currently covers 8 crop types, and in livestock it covers cattle, poultry, pigs and fish. The 2024-2025 report shows that each year about 189,734 farmers and livestock keepers, representing 5.4% of all farmers, benefit from this program. So far, the program has compensated farmers and livestock keepers the total of 8,192,723,212 Rwandan francs for losses caused by disasters and climate change. The scheme is expected to play a significant role in removing barriers that prevent farmers and livestock keepers from accessing credit, according to Murenzi Ferdinand, the head of financial stability in the National Bank of Rwanda. When a farmer takes a loan, cultivates properly, and harvests successfully, the economy grows, while at the same time they are able to repay their loan. This contributes to the national economy, and for that farmer who engaged in cultivation, it boosts the economy as well as the financial sector. Since they managed to repay the loan they had taken from a financial institution in order to improve their livelihood. The CEO of VPR Bank of Rwanda, Patience Mutesi, says that in the tea and coffee value chains, the bank provides sufficient financing with the capacity to offer even a single client loans as high as 40 billion Rwandan francs.
The products that we have available range from working capital financing, asset-based financing products where we can provide financing for equipment, with the equipment actually as collateral for the bank so that they can then be able to scale their operations. We also provide construction loans for players that are looking to expand, their warehousing facilities, those that are looking to expand their factories so that they can ultimately increase their production. Over the years, we have worked really, really well in expanding access to financial services for the farmers, and so we want to come in as a partner for the coffee and tea value chain to continue supporting their growth so that we can ultimately achieve the goals to increase export revenues from the coffee and tea value chains.
The Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources, Dr. Mark Chubahiro Bagabe, says the establishment of an agricultural bank would address the needs of farmers seeking large long-term loans at low interest rates, with repayment starting only after a grace period of several years.
When you want to look up to intensive agriculture, then you need a grace period before you can start paying. Let's think of that. They told me, I think, for example, you're going to tea, they'll give you 2 to 3 years. But to be able to break even in that sector, it will take 10 years. So that's forcing people to go and borrow money from outside. And yet we say we have money in the country not accessible. And then, of course, the interest rates of such a kind of investment, it cannot be the current 80% we are talking about. Should we think about creating actually a bank, agricultural bank? If we are saying the mainstay, the low-hanging fruits in agricultural sector, shouldn't actually we be thinking of having a specialized bank for agriculture, where you can make quick money in actually agriculture?
Under the second National Strategy for Transformation, NST2, the government has set a target to double agriculture output compared to the achieved under NST1 by sustaining an annual growth rate of 6% in agriculture and livestock. Enra Gladys, RTV News.
Thank you, Enora. Now we'll take a short break and then come back and see what is happening on the international page.
Every journey has a beginning. From nature comes refreshing fruity goodness that keeps you going every day. With every pack complementing life's best moments. Not one, not 2, but 5 different fruity flavors. And this journey keeps giving. Introducing Inyanji's new fruity juice flavors, guava and cocktail. Now available at your nearest shop. Always ask for Inyanji.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka imwe, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njya muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byaragiye nanditse amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye zibimamo. bigereho.
Get ready for one of the biggest celebrations of the year. It's the 20th edition of Rwanda's iconic Kwitizina Gorilla Naming Ceremony, happening on Friday, September 5th, 2025, at the breathtaking foothills of Volcanoes National Park. Join thousands of guests, local communities, and international visitors as we honor Rwanda's newest mountain gorilla babies and celebrate 2 decades of conservation success. Celebrate the vibrant spirit of Rwanda. Join us for an unforgettable festival showcasing the best of Rwandan culture with traditional dances, live performances, and much more. Experience the heart and soul of Rwanda like never before. Come witness this global event where celebrities and conservation champions unite to name Rwanda's beloved gorillas. It's an experience like no other, a true celebration of conservation and culture. Mark your calendars and get ready for a week of exciting events. Be part of the story. Be part of the future of conservation. For more details, visit www.kwitizina.rw and be part of Rwanda's conservation legacy. Kwitizina 2025, where tradition meets celebration. Don't miss it.
You're still watching RTV News. Now to matters making headlines globally. A 6.0 magnitude earthquake in northern eastern Afghanistan has killed over 800 people, with Kunar province hardest hit. The shallow quake near Jalalabad has caused widespread damage, and rescuers face challenges reaching the remote mountainous areas cut off from mobile networks. Al Jazeera with the details.
Several villages in northeastern Afghanistan's Kunar province have been wiped off the map. A devastating earthquake struck at around midnight on Sunday, burying families as they slept. The epicenter was northeast of Jalalabad in Nangarhar province, where villages dot the hills of the Hindu Kush mountains.
It was midnight when the earthquake started and shook us all violently, even breaking our house. We managed to escape outside. 5 nephews and 2 of my nieces were killed, along with one of my aunts.
Even in normal times, trying to reach these parts of Afghanistan takes hours by foot. What roads there were have been destroyed by landslides or rendered impassable by recent heavy rainfalls. In rural areas, homes are made mostly of mud bricks and wood, unable to withstand the force of the quake, let alone the numerous aftershocks.
This was my brother's house, and he, along with 3 of his children, was killed. My other brother, together with his sons, was also killed there. This is the condition of our home. Our dead are lying there on the ground.
Airlift operations are the only way to reach the thousands of people who are trapped and injured. Authorities in Kabul, desperate for humanitarian supplies and aid, even before this disaster struck, are scrambling what resources they can.
The time window of survival is rapidly reducing, and we need to be there as soon as possible. And many of our staff and volunteers are there. They are doing their best, but they can only do that much.
Humanitarian and aid agencies are also stepping up, their immediate focus on rescuing as many people as possible. Only then will the momentum shift towards recovery efforts in a country still reeling from 4 decades of war. Michael Apple, Al Jazeera.
Moving ahead, U.S. tourism is declining under policies unpopular with international travelers, with the country projected to lose $12 billion in foreign visitor spending this year, the only nation expected to see a drop, according to the World Travel and Tourism Council. Al Jazeera once more.
Tourists visiting Washington, D.C. have a new sight to see. National Guard soldiers deployed here by Donald Trump in mid-August in response to what he claims to be a citywide crime emergency.
Today I'm going to American African Museum. I love it, D.C.
Louise Francine is vacationing here from Brazil. She says compared to crime in her country, Washington is peaceful. In fact, violent crime in Washington had already hit a 30-year low when the soldiers arrived. Foreign tourists say the troops and Trump's nationalistic speech and policies make the U.S. feel like a less welcoming place.
Everybody afraid, scared. There's too much politics about immigration too.
Even before Trump deployed the military to the nation's capital, the forecast for international tourism here was down more than 5% for this year. Across the nation, that expectation is even worse for 2025. The firm Tourism Economics predicted an 8% decline in international tourism across the country.
I think more of that can be put down to the president's trade wars and some of the fallout from fears about getting ensnared in immigration enforcement with foreign visitors to the country.
Canadians are staying away the most. Last year, Canadians made 20 million trips to the U.S. and spent $20 billion. Now, targeted by Trump's trade war and rhetorical jabs, Canadian visits are down by 30%. Kevin Bonner, a D.C. pedicab driver of 15 years, says Trump's policies are turning off visitors.
Sometimes it's a little embarrassing, actually. So when I talk to international tourists, they're kind of just like, what's wrong with you guys? How'd you get this man in office?
The 50% of Americans who voted for Trump are among domestic travelers enjoying their president's presence splashed across Washington. But foreign tourists typically far outspend American visitors to the national capital. And that's money being peddled away. Heidi Jo Castro, Al Jazeera, Washington.
And the story brings us to the end of tonight's bulletin, but before we leave, a reminder of the top stories that made this edition. President Paul Kagame has emphasized that Africa possesses all the resources, including knowledge, needed to achieve food security. Rwanda's Supreme Court has commended the justice sector institutions for their performance in the 2024-2025 judicial year. And on the international scene, a 6.0 magnitude earthquake in northern eastern Afghanistan has killed over 800 people, with Kunar province hardest hit. Now that this marks the end of this bulletin, thank you for joining us. We wish you a productive and restful month of September. Stay safe. Goodbye.